Hey, welcome into another episode of Get to Know Your Angels player profile here on Halos in the Infield. In this series, we like to highlight Angel players that either made a big mark on the Angels, maybe didn't get the glory, or maybe even been in the Hall of Fame, but you wouldn't even know that they're in the Angels Hall of Fame because the Angels this year on their 60th year anniversary, in which they did not honor their 60th anniversary like they should have. So we'll pick up the slack here by honoring another player here on the Angels player profile by the name of Chuck Finley. Born on November 26, 1962 in Monroe, Louisiana, Chuck loved baseball from an early age, and it showed as he dominated in Little League. Finley would stay in the state of Louisiana and attend Monroe High School, where he dominated there, and then moved on to college and stayed in Louisiana, going to Louisiana Tech University, and then he transferred to Northeast Louisiana University. His ability to pitch more than 3 innings was initially limited by mechanical issues, but his delivery was very crude and inconsistent. So because of that, in the 1984 draft, he was picked 15th round by the California Angels, but he did not sign, making himself a free agent. And the secondary draft that would take place in early January of 1985, the Angels again would take a shot at him by drafting him once again 4th overall. After being drafted by the Angels in '85, he made his appearance for Quad Cities in Class A, making his first scheduled relief appearances, where he sported a 4.66 ERA, going 3-1 with 5 saves. And then in 1986, he made 10 appearances for Quad Cities, then moved up to Double-A before being called up to the Major League team in 1986. Chuck Finley made his Major League debut May 29, 1986 on that great Angels team, but it was during the loss that Don Sutton had pitched to a 7-4 loss to the Detroit Tigers. He came out there and pitched 3 innings of scoreless ball in relief for Don Sutton. Chuck Finley would start his career in 1986 at the age of 23 for the California Angels, and he would bring to the mound every night a devastating forkball and split finger pitch to go along with a great fastball and changeup. These pitches he was perfecting that first year in '86, where he went to a record of 3-1 with a 3.30 ERA in 25 games out of the bullpen and 46 innings pitched. Side note, in 1986, that would be the only season that Chuck Finley would be able to pitch in the postseason for the California Angels / Anaheim / Los Angeles Angels, as they never reached the postseason the years that he pitched. But in '86, he made an appearance against the Red Sox, 2 innings pitched, no runs allowed, and only 1 hit. In 1987, the team was sort of in a transition, and at the age of 24, he went 2-7 with a 4.67 ERA. He started his first games of his career, 3 of them at which, where he sported a 1-2 record, and he pitched 90 innings that season. In the 1988 season, he really got his feet wet. He sported a 9 wins and 15 losses with a 4.17 ERA in 31 games started. Pitched his most innings of his career at that point with 194, and he had 111 strikeouts. So his strikeouts were starting to come up at this point, which led him to the 1989 season at the age of 26, making his first All-Star appearance, where he went 16-9 with a 2.57 ERA in 29 games started. He pitched just under 200 innings and had almost 200 strikeouts to go along with that. And it started the three-headed beast of Mark Langston, Chuck Finley, and Jim Abbott, the 3 lefties in the Angels starting rotation, which would rack up a lot of wins over the next few years. In 1990, Chuck Finley finished up the season with an 18-9 record, a second straight All-Star appearance with a 2.40 career-high low ERA and 236 innings pitched with 200 strikeouts. He was very dominant for the Angels in that season. In 1991, at the age of 28, he sported the same identical record, 18 wins and 9 losses, but this time his ERA was a full run higher. It was 3.80. He had 34 games started, 227 innings pitched. He allowed 200 hits that year, but he did once again pull down almost 200 strikeouts. He had a very low whip as well. In 1992, the team itself was in an overall transition, and Chuck Finley was one of the horses of the team. And this would go on for the next 5 to 6 seasons, where the Angels would struggle to score runs, and Chuck would be out there striking out players left and right, trying to keep his team in the game, and he was the Angels' true ace. But this season was one of the toughest of his careers, as he says later on. In 1992, he went 7-12 with a 3.96 ERA and 200 innings pitched. He was trying to just keep the Angels afloat, but in those years in the early 90s, the Angels weren't all that good at all. So at the age of 30 in 1993, he had a bounce-back year at 16-14, 16 wins, 14 losses, a 3.15 ERA in 35 games started. And get this, guys, 13 complete games. He pitched a career-high 251 innings. Let that sink in. When's the last time or when's the next time you're going to have an Angels pitcher, first off, pitch 200 innings, let alone 250? And how many complete games have the Angels had in the last few years? Maybe one here, one there. Chuck Finley had 13. The year before he had 4. The year before that 4. The year before that 7. In 89 he had 9 complete games. So we're seeing a trend here. 13 complete games for Big Chuck on the mound for the Angels in the year of 1993. In 1994, he'd come back at 10 wins and 10 losses with a 4.32 ERA in 25 games started, and he had 7 complete games in 183 innings pitched. Now, in 1995, he would make an all-star appearance again, the third of his career to this point, at the age of 32, where he went 15-12 and was a workhorse, including helping the Angels pitch on 3 days in the months of September as they battled with Seattle to make that one-game playoff in that crazy season where the Angels had the best record at one point before losing it and then trying to come back and getting that one-game postseason playoff berth. But at that time, he finished the season 15-12 with a 4.21 ERA in 32 games started, 2 complete games, pitched over 203 innings and 200 strikeouts. Dude was a workhorse. 1996, he came back again with a 15 wins, but he had 16 losses, 4.16 ERA in 35 games started, 238 more innings pitched. So that just goes to show you that he's out there win or loss. He's out there battling in games where he's maybe losing 3-2 and he gets a loss, because Chuck Finley, one thing about him, when he took the mound, you weren't going to score too many runs on him, and it was up to the Angels hitting to get the W, because he was going to keep you in the game no matter what. In 1997, as the Angels changed over to those putrid jerseys, and by the way, in 96 he was an all-star, but in 97 they switched over to the pinstripes. He went 13-6 in 25 games started, won 164 innings pitched that inning, almost 200 strikeouts once again, as the Angels would not make the postseason that year as well. In 98, he went 11-9 with a 3.39 ERA and 223 innings pitched, had a couple more complete games. In 1999, he would finish up his Angels career at 12-11 with a 4.43 ERA and 33 games started, 213 innings pitched. He went to Cleveland and became an all-star for the 5th time in his career, going 16-11 with a 4.17 ERA and 34 games started and 218 more innings pitched. In that season, he would help the Cleveland Indians in the postseason, but he would not get the win. He would go 0-2, but he had an ERA of 3.35 in the postseason against the Mariners. After the 2000 season, he would spend 2 more seasons with the Cleveland Indians, going 8-7 with a 5.54 ERA in 2001, the worst ERA of his career. He battled some injuries there too. But in 2002, he'd return strong with Cleveland and then get traded at the age of 39 to St. Louis. So he played half and half, going 11-15 between the two ball clubs, as he would make a playoff appearance for the St. Louis Cardinals in 2002. Chuck Finley would hit a lot of records in his career, and one of which was an obscure one. 4 times in his career, he struck out 4 batters in 1 inning. Because that crazy fork ball on the second out of the inning, he would get the 3rd strikeout, but the ball would always get away from the catcher and turn into a wild pitch to the base runner to make it to first, and then he'd have to go around and strike out another guy. Chuck Finley, all his time in baseball, was a leader in the clubhouse and very beloved by Angel fans and by the players that he played with. And as that 3-headed beast of him, Langston, and Abbott pitched on, what could have been for the Anaheim Angels, California, had they had a little bit more hitting behind them at those times when those pitchers were in their peak. At the end of his career in 2006, he was inducted into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. He was also inducted into the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks Baseball Program Hall of Fame in 2007. His number 31 and his name, Finley, was inducted into the University's Hall of Fame in 1996 as well, and his jersey retired. And he was also inducted into the Angels Hall of Fame August 27th, 2009. Chuck Finley's overall career, he would sport 200 wins in 17 years pitched. But his 14 years with the Angels organization, he won 165 games for the Angels and sported a career average ERA of 3.72 and 379 games started. He also owns the Angels franchise record for 57 complete games and 63 for his career total. This has been another episode of Get to Know Your Angels Player Profile. Chuck Finley on Halos in the Infield.